There are no perfect relationships. You just got to be adventurous enough. This week on Konnect, Dimpy Ganguli gave me that reality check about life, career, relationships, motherhood with two absolutely cute children, decision making, shifting cities from Bombay to Dubai, and of course, the very glamorous world of showbiz that she's been a part of and we all are fascinated by. Check out the interview, I'm sure you're gonna like it. First of all, thank you for doing this and thank you
No,
for agreeing to do it.
no problem.
My first question to you would be that how has it been to, shift? Because you've made the shift between two different cities. How has the shift been from Bombay and Dubai? How does it look like for you?
Um, to be honest with you, when I moved from Mumbai to Dubai, I was going through a very hard time, and I was willing to take the hard way. So I wasn't looking for easy things at that point. I was willing to be hard on myself. I was willing to uh, sacrifice and let go of a lot, and that's why I think I could move. Um, I needed to move also because when you want when you consciously want to make a shift, then you have to somewhere. There is no easy transition. It's a full stop and it's a start afresh. So I had to put a full stop and I had to start afresh. Obviously, the familiarity that I had with India or Bombay at that point of time, I missed that. I missed my family and I missed, but I wanted I wanted that detachment before I started forming attachments again. So when I look back right now, I don't feel it was more hard. I feel it was more adventurous. And that gave me a lot of confidence
Yeah.
that to start from scratch again and to, be a different version of myself and to just not look back or have like one foot there and one foot here and then not feel like you belong anywhere really. So yeah, it was adventurous.
But it must have been challenging, right? How did you cope with that?
Yeah, nothing is easy. Anything that comes easy never stays with you, I feel. I don't find the quarantine that challenging, to be honest, because I'm used to like just
Being married.
constantly shifting through life.
Yeah.
So not many people know I used to be a swimmer. I was a national level swimmer. I had
Wow.
no connection to the glamour world, nothing. And then suddenly one fine day I was like, no, I just want to be like, I feel that I was swimming from the age of three and a half till about 17, 18, like that. So, but then I think I reached a point where I got over it and I was like, okay, enough of being a sports person. Now I just want to be something else and do something else. And then, this gradual shift to modeling happened. And then that was a completely different world. Like sports, especially at that time, was absolutely non-glamorous. And then the shift
Wow.
happened to modeling, which used to be like tiptoe. And then I had to learn a lot how to make up, how to do hair, how to be graceful. That was challenging. I wasn't graceful at all. I was very boyish at that time.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was one thing that completely changed. And then Calcutta, which was like, home, and it had that soft cushion for me. And then from there, when I moved to Bombay, it was a completely different setting. And, I was a very middle class girl who suddenly had to, just suddenly put into a very different um, socioeconomic background, and it was a difficult transition at that time. A lot of things I didn't understand at that point. I was 21,
Yeah.
like flying domestic airlines, that too in business class, was kind of weird for me. I was like, why am I flying business class in domestic sectors?
Yeah.
It was uncomfortable for me, not just weird, it was uncomfortable for me. Even walking around with bodyguards was not something that I was used to, and it was suddenly like a intrusion of privacy. And not many people know this, but I was also working in Dubai in an event management company, and for some time, yeah, till I got married. I was working here.
looking at your profile whenever I interact with your pictures when you put them up is that there's that. I mean, you've been through different experiences, but there's always been that courage to just try something new and not give up on that. And that is something that I find extremely.
Yeah. I mainly not look at it as a challenge, look at it as an adventure, and I think that helps because even last year in France, when Rohit, my husband, had gone there for an MBA, he used to be busy, like crazy busy, because
Yes.
their course was a 10 months course. And then I had Rihanna, who was a toddler at that point. Like she's just turned 2, and the terrible 2 just started. And then I moved to a different country, literally, where Rohit would be leaving at 7 in the morning, and then 3 or 4 in the morning, he would be coming back like a shadow, and then again waking up at 7 and leaving for campus. So it was literally me and her in not even Paris. We were in metropolitan of Paris, which was 45 minutes from Paris, and nobody spoke English. I
Oh
was
my.
just and a 2-year-old who used to go to the parks and say hi. And she was always very friendly. So she would go and say hi to the other kids, but they would not understand because they used to bonjours and cookies
Yeah.
and all that. So it was like, okay, how do we survive one whole year? I think that was one of the best years of my life last year. It was one of the best years so far. And I ended up making so many friends. I picked up French enough to make people understand what I'm saying. I can't speak French, but I understand what people are saying and I can make myself understood.
But tell me, you've been in the world of showbiz. What does it entitle somebody to? How does it alter your life completely?
Um, well, it has a lot of attention on you. Like I would say it's like any other job. It requires the same amount of dedication, the same amount of stress and rewards and everything. But the difference is here you get the results almost immediately because you're in the showbiz and your performance is being judged and you get the results, like people's reactions are instantly. Obviously with fame comes a lot of responsibilities and it's a certain amount of it's overwhelming, especially if you can make it to the big league. It's overwhelming when people walk up to you and recognize you and talk to you, and they treat you like they know you and they relate to you, especially since I come from the reality show background. And most of the reality shows are obviously non-fiction,
Yeah.
so people know you as you. I'm not a character from a film or a character from a serial that they call out. They call out my name. They know what makes me tick. They know how I cry, like really, not acting crying. They know how I fight. They know what makes me laugh. So it's like it's overwhelming when people come and talk to you like they've known you as family, and they elderly people, they come and tell you, they bless you, and they say that we really felt sad. We used to feel sad when you would cry, and all that is very touching. But at the same time, we have obviously the privacy, the loss of privacy. Like nothing that you do can be in private, because everything, you're a public person, everything is out in the open, and everything is like, the more you try to hide, it's like quicksand, the more you're going to go down faster.
Yeah.
There's no really hiding it. I find artists very, like artists, people who are in the glamour industry or the showbiz, and this our industry, people, they're all of them are very unique in their own ways. They're all they've all gone through a lot of experiences to be where they are. And believe me, um, mm, in public eye, like when your name is associated with a certain amount of fame, or when you're trying to be in that league, you do go through a lot of experiences very fast, which probably a 9 to 5 job will not give you.
And what are the three uh, learnings that you have acquired through all this that you would actually pass on to your kids and
kids
The
important?
three things that I follow, and I would definitely pass this on to my kids, are acceptance. You need to accept who you are and what you've gone through in life and what is lying ahead, where you're coming from, and what you need to accept yourself, your world in general.
Mm,
If something bad has happened, even that you need to accept.
mm,
Adapt, adapt yourself, keep changing according to the situation. I know people say that people don't change, but I don't believe it. I believe that people do change, and change is the only constant thing in this world. And if you don't keep adapting to new situations, you'll forever remain uh, trapped in an
yeah,
age which is no more relevant.
yeah.
So you need to keep adapting yourself. So accept, adapt, and keep moving. That's what I feel that always works.
And tell me one thing, you've been through so many different kind of relationships. I want to ask you this as a young person who's probably not been in a relationship yet. But what are your, I'm talking long term, when it comes to a proper long term relationship, what do you think that, makes the ideal person? How does somebody, say, for example, I'm asking you that, how do you look for an ideal partner? What would your qualities be? That
The
you
first thing to do is not look for an ideal person.
very
Because
good.
there is nothing called an ideal person and there's nothing called an ideal relationship. All relationships are flawed. Everybody is flawed. There is no ideal thing like that ever. Because we are also different. And what's good for me might not be good for you. And what's good for you might not be good for the other person. So it's more of looking for a fit. We all need to look for a fit, and the fit is, it has to be your choice, and you need to know yourself the most to understand. Unfortunately for me, I had to go through multiple relationships to understand who I am.
Yeah.
So it was more of eliminating
Uh,
than choosing for me. That, okay, this tried not working, this tried not working, this tried not working. So then I kept moving, and then I found someone that can handle my craziness. But I feel that if you know yourself, then you're less likely to make the wrong choices. So but whatever it is, these days I feel trying should never be discouraged. Like, we should all be open to
very important.
relationships. You're bound to make mistakes, and it's okay. I mean, nothing's permanent in life, and you need to know that, and you need to understand that, and stop being so hard on yourself. Don't be under so much pressure that, oh, I have to do this right. No, you don't.
Mm,
You just need to be you. You do you. That's what you need to do. And if the other person appreciates you for who you are, then he is the ideal person for you. But
very,
if he doesn't recognize you for being you, or he wants you to um, be like him,
mm,
then probably it's not the ideal relationship. Having said that, mind you, no relationship can survive just standing your own ground. We all need to walk towards finding a middle ground. So the changes will come, and those changes need not be enforced by the other person.
huh,
It should, like, there are a lot of changes that I have brought about in myself
mm,
for my partner, for my husband. But does that make him the person who changed me? No.
mm,
My love for him made me change me.
mm,
Nobody can change you. And if you feel that some change you are very vehemently resisting, it means that you're not ready for that change. But then sometimes you feel like, yeah, what he's saying, that it's not harmful, it's not wrong. So why do I just unnecessarily stand my ground and just prove a point that no, 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 I'm not going to change for a man or a boy, or that I feel that flexibility is very essential for relationships, to
absolutely.
walk the middle ground.
Yeah, yeah, very true. Very thin line right there, yeah. It's a very thin line.
Yeah, yeah. No, because these days most of us, we don't understand
Mm.
the compromises and the sacrifices that makes a successful relationship. We are all very headstrong. We all feel that no, this is me. I have always been doing this, and why should he dictate? He's not dictating, or probably she's not dictating. She's not trying to boss over you. Probably he is or she is looking at your life and seeing that you are walking down the same mistakes, you're doing the same mistakes, and probably he or she's trying to guide you, or he or she's trying to look out for you and give you an advice. These days we are not very good at taking advices.
Yeah,
So that's where most of the relationships are failing, because people are losing empathy for each other.
very true. Very true. Yes.
So no ideal relationship. Just find the person with whom you can just sit across and not feel like rushed, or not feel like judged, or not feel like you can just be yourself, your flawed self.
Yeah. Beautiful. That's something I will take away. My last question to you is that, is there something that you would want to, go back and change about your journey? Or is there something that you would like to tell your 21-year-old self? Because that's when you moved, I think. Is there something like that that you would like to?
No, not a thing.
Very good.
Not a single thing, actually. I would want, if I have to live my life again, I would live it exactly the same ways. I would just not succumb to some peer pressures, maybe, which happened before I was 21. But yeah, peer pressure is something that I would advise my kids also to be wary of, because sometimes that's not very fruitful, rather, it's harmful.
Mm.
Other than that, I don't want to change a thing, because all of that experience has been the learnings for me and has shaped each roadblock, each bump in the road, has kind of carved the person that I am today. So yeah, nothing.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. And
Yeah, I'm loving talking to another person who's not family to me.